Ahoi! My name is Kurt and here comes the next installment of my POKéBALL crafting series. Today I will be making the Greatball and Masterball. To get a better understanding of how I craft my POKéBalls, I recommend checking out my video on the POKéBALL prototype, where I explain each step in more detail. In this video, I will focus on the visual differences and explain how to craft these special POKéBalls. Let's start with the Greatball. I've already worked on both halves, sanding, cleaning and painting them in their respective colors. For the interior of the POKéBalls, I used a plastic Christmas ornament again, wrapping it with 2mm thick foam. Now, what's hidden here? Alright, this is the template for the red parts found on the upper half of the Greatball. I traced it twice onto 4mm thick foam and carefully cut it out. I rounded the corners and edges slightly with a bit of heat and sealed the surface at the same time. I painted the foam with a mixture of red acrylic paint and a good splash of acrylic varnish. Okay, maybe a bit more varnish. And if you want to support me and my work, please subscribe to my channel. Maybe we can reach 8 billion subscribers by tomorrow this way. No, seriously, thank you so much for your support and let's continue with the video. After a few coats of my red primer, I set the parts aside to let the paint dry. Meanwhile, I cut out shapes from 2mm colored foam that will later be glued inside the halves. If you roughen the insides of the halves with sandpaper, the foam adheres wonderfully. Okay, these elements are ready now, the halves and the inside of the POKéBALL. I used a spacer again to align the halves correctly, then applied some super glue here and there to bond them. The red parts were also ready and I glued them onto the POKéBALL with super glue. But before that, I tucked in some foam at the bottom. I thought it would give the foam a slightly curved shape. Turns out, not so much. In hindsight, I wish I had glued them a bit closer to the button or center. I feel they are currently a bit too far back, but never mind, I can't change that now. The button consists again of a furniture glide, a rubber ring and a magnet. I easily connected the three parts with super glue and I gave the button a new coat with a metallic pen and then attached it in the center of the POKéBALL. At the end of this video I will show you how I made the Greatball look old and worn. But first let's move on to the Masterball. Here I prepared the halves to a point where I won't have to do much for the video also. I also glued foam in the corresponding colors inside and... oh! I will attach these huge googly eyes later on the left and right side of the Masterball. I removed some material and bent the plastic a bit into shape. You will later see that all of that didn't work out and I had to start over, but I wanted to show the process in the video so that you can learn from my mistakes. I painted both eyes in the respective color and attached 4mm thick foam inside. Here are all the parts I prepared up to this point. The halves, the inside of the POKéBALL, the pink googly eyes and the button. I aligned the halves and glued them to the core with super glue again. The button can also go to its designated place and I also cut out the large white M from 2mm thick foam. I think 1 mm would have looked better, but unfortunately I didn't have white foam of that thickness available. I first aligned the pink parts on the Pokéball and marked them. When I started sticking them on, I realized the extent of the problem. I removed the pink parts and the green foam and made new pink parts without the green foam. However, I attached a layer of 1 mm thick foam at the bottom. This allowed me to almost effortlessly attach the googly eyes to the Pokéball. Both Pokeballs were almost finished and I gave them some signs of use. I scratched the surface, painted it with black acrylic paint and removed some material around the button area. I painted the edges here and there with a metallic pen to highlight them a bit more. And there they are, all finished. Here are the Greatball and Masterball in beautiful lighting. Thank you so much for tuning in and sticking around until the end. As always, feel free to leave a comment if you have any questions about this or any other of my projects. In the upcoming video I will present 2 more Pokeballs, though I'm not sure which ones yet. We will see. Until then, take care and have fun crafting.